Hey, friend. Welcome back to Shutdown, Not Shaken, a special mini-series of the At Ease podcast. I am your host, Cristin Candice, and today we're talking about shame. It has been weighing heavy on a lot of us, and I want to put it out in the open. Not the kind of shame that actually comes from doing something wrong, but the kind that would have you start believing that you should have done more. We are weeks into this government shutdown, and a lot of Black women are sitting at home wondering, how did I end up without enough savings, without a plan, without a safety net? And I want you to know it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Shame says things like you should have been more prepared. You've been working too long to still be living paycheck to paycheck. You're too old to be starting over. Does any of that sound familiar? That's shame. That's not true. None of it is true. What shame does is make you believe that your circumstances are a reflection of your worth. That being caught in a crisis means that you've failed. What you're feeling right now is anxiety, uncertainty, frustration. And those are all very human responses to systemic problems. Let's just zoom out for a second. Black women in the U.S. are paid 63 cents for every dollar earned by a white man. We carry more student loan debt than any other racial group. We're more likely to be supporting children, aging parents, and extended family. And we often work in sectors that are the first to freeze during budget cuts: education, government, and nonprofit work. So when people say you should have 6 months of savings, I want to ask, 6 months of what? 6 months of already stretched paychecks? 6 months of surviving, not thriving? For many of us, there's not even space to save because we're busy supporting. And that's a conversation for another day. This is not about poor money management. It's about a system that has normalized scarcity for Black women and then has the audacity to blame us for not being financially free. I want to bring in something from Brené Brown's research here. She defines shame as the intensely painful feeling that we are unworthy of love and belonging. And she says the antidote to shame isn't fixing or hiding, it's connection. Brené Brown also talks about shame resilience, the process of moving from silence to empathy. It's what happens when we stop isolating ourselves and start talking about what's hurting us. Shame thrives in secrecy. And when we bring it to the light, when you say, hey, I'm struggling, the shame starts to lose its grip. If you are feeling embarrassed, stuck, or inadequate right now, if you've been laid off, if you are furloughed, I want to invite you to bring that feeling out of hiding. You are not the only one. You are not behind. You are not broken. And here's what I've noticed, and the hard lesson I had to learn. So many of us did everything right. We got the degrees, we showed up early and stayed late, we invested in professional development, we followed the rules, and still we find ourselves sitting at home unpaid, uncertain, and tired. That disconnect between effort and outcome is one of the hardest things to process and accept. It's like grief mixed with anger. And it's in that tension where shame can sneak in again. Our culture teaches us that if you're not okay or if you don't meet the norms of dominant culture, it's your fault. If you're fat, it's your fault. If you're broke, it's your fault. If you don't own a home, it's your fault. If you're single, it's your fault. Something must be wrong with you. But we can't self-care our way out of systemic failures. You can't out-budget racial pay gaps. You can't outplan underfunded departments or arbitrary furloughs. This isn't about your discipline. It's about how things were designed. And that's why I really want you to release any guilt or shame. What would it look like if you gave yourself grace in this moment to say, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I'm not lazy. I'm exhausted. I'm not broke. I'm in between blessings. Giving yourself grace is not denying the reality of your situation. Grace is really just truth wrapped with a little bit of compassion. It says, yes, I could have made different choices, and also I was operating under real constraints. It reminds us that our worth is not conditional, that our dignity does not depend on a paycheck. And in some moments, survival is success. Shame isolates us, but community really does heal. And that has been a theme throughout this, I don't know what day are we on, 34, 35 days. This is why mutual aid and community care is so powerful. In moments like this, Black women have always built networks of support, from church groups to sister circles to the group chat and podcasts. We hold each other in our day-to-day. And when you say to another woman, girl, me too, I'm in the same boat as you, you're actually helping to dismantle shame. When you send a Cash App for groceries or share a lead or offer childcare, it's an act of love. It's a labor of love in motion. And if you're the one receiving, let that be okay too. Let someone love you back. Let someone pour into you. Receiving support, again, it's not weak. It's human. And because so many of us have been wired to believe that scarcity is our norm, it is even more important for us to get comfortable receiving. Here are a few small but I believe meaningful shifts you can make. So again, we're naming it, saying it out loud. I feel ashamed. And notice where that sits in your body. You can contextualize it. Remind yourself about the systems at play, the wealth gap, the cost of living, the shutdown. Reframe it. Instead of I'm behind, try I'm regrouping. Reconnect. Text a friend, join a support group, or listen to spaces like this one that remind you you're not alone. And I always say it, rest. Making decisions from a well-rested place is far better than making decisions out of exhaustion. If you have a journal nearby, here are a few prompts you can sit with. What stories have I been told, or have I told myself about money and worth? How has shame shown up for me during this shutdown or this layoff? What is one thing I can forgive myself for today? How can I show myself grace, not when things get better, but right now? I know this moment is hard, but I also know this. You're not defined by your checking account or your current employment status. You're defined by so much more, your creativity, your capacity to keep showing up, even when the world feels unfair, which it absolutely does right now. So the next time that shame tries to tell you you failed, I want you to say back to it, no, I've survived. Take a breath and release that blame. And remember that the system may be broken, but you are not. If today's episode spoke to you, if it made you pause, breathe, or feel just a little more seen, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too. We're working to build community through these conversations, one story at a time, and your share helps this message reach more people who could use a little ease right now. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, take a second to leave a 5-star review and a few words about what resonated with you. It really helps others find the show and join our circle. Until next time, take care of yourself, give yourself grace, and remember, you are allowed to feel at ease, even in uncertain times. And if the government is still shut down, I will see you tomorrow.